This is the Louie T Network. The journey is long, and nobody said it was going to be easy. But all we've got is us.
You have any quarterback news for us?
All that believe.
Yes, we do have news. We have announced that Kirk Cousins will be the starter for 2015 moving forward. And I think all three quarterbacks should be commended for their efforts, their willingness to get better. But when it's all said and done, after all the film that we've gone through, all the off-season activity, all the training camp footage, we feel like at this time, Kirk Cousins gives us the best chance to win, and that's where we're going.
When you say for 2015, does that mean barring?
It's Kirk's team. Very critical. You know, it's a home game, number one. We're going to play a very tough, spirited Tampa Bay team coming off a bye again. Healthy Tampa Bay team. That's critical. It's code red for us.
Welcome, all my fellow Redskin brothers and sisters. I am your man and resident Redskins fan, Lou. Thank you for joining me here on the Redskins Report.
It's code red for us.
Y'all gotta forgive me, man. I hear alarms, I hear code red. I'm taking off. That's generally how I react to things like that. I hear code red, I hear fire alarms. Just like gunshots, I'm running the opposite way. Jay Gruden's laid the gauntlet down this week, man. You heard him. Code red. Code red. It's a big one. Would I have done that as a coach? Probably not. Probably not. Not in week 7. I mean, he didn't actually say this, but when you say code red, there's no alert level higher than code red, which means essentially this is a must-win game now. You can't use that term unless it's actually a must-win game, and I hate the term must-win game unless it's actually a playoff game or a play-in game, because if you say this is a must-win game, and I felt the same way about the Rams game early in the season when we were 0-1. I felt the same way about the Eagles game when we were 1-2. You can't use the term must win. I don't like the term must win because what happens when you don't win? If it's a must win game and you don't win, what happens after that? I mean, you put all your eggs in that one basket and it doesn't go the way that you intended for it to go. What do you do after that? Where do you go from there? I mean, there's really no rebounding from telling your team, we have to win this game or else. And then you come in the locker room after you lose the football game 21-17, and what do you say to your team? So he basically said that by saying it was a code red game, but he's backtracked since. He said, look, man, you guys blew this into a much bigger deal than I intended for it to be. I was just trying to tell the guys and motivate them and let them know, hey, we're at the crossroads of our season. This is a division that's wide open, but if we don't win this next game versus Tampa, the likelihood of us, because look, these guys aren't done. I mean, you go to your bye week at 2-5 if you lose to Tampa. After the bye week, you're going to Foxborough to take on the Patriots. Are you going to win that game? Hell no, you're not winning that game. So then you're talking 2-6. At that point, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, you're not turning anything. I don't care how bad the NFC East is. At 2-6, you can basically kiss any hope of being competitive in terms of making the postseason. You can kiss that goodbye. And we're talking about early stages of November. Look, all I asked the fellas to do was get me to November playing competitive and meaningful football. So if we can find a way to win this game versus Tampa, they would have effectively have done that for me and gotten me to November. And then after that, because I said it's a 6-10 team, so it's not like I had aspirations. Just because the Cowboys situation was bad and it opened up the division and we didn't think that was going to be the case when the season started, just because Romo's out and Des Bryant is out doesn't mean that we're all of a sudden a better team. All that meant was that the division, if we decided to play some kind of unworldly-like football, because this team is not set up to win 8-9 games. I didn't see that when the season started. I said we would have to have all the bounces go our way. We would have to stay relatively healthy, which we have not. You saw that coming once the preseason hit, and we had all these guys dropping left and right. You saw the writing on the wall that we weren't going to stay healthy, and we had to stay healthy. That wasn't optional. We had to stay healthy. I've said this all along, and I felt this way. We're a 6-win ball club. So for us to be struggling right now, it doesn't make me feel any sort of way. It's disappointing knowing that we were in ball games and had a chance to win and we didn't, but we're not good enough. And that's the bottom line. And I've said that before, I'll say it again. Good teams find a way to win. We're not a good team. So to be at 2-4 right now, staring 2-5 in the face, and having our season be on the brink of another one of these 4-12, 5-11 campaigns, not surprising to me. Disappointed? Absolutely. But surprising? No. I'd be lying to you if I told you I was surprised. But let's jump into this bow and go, man. Let's jump into this bow and go because I want to wrap up last week's loss to the Jets, and it was an ugly one, and probably should have seen that one coming. I'm a little disappointed because I felt like even with all the guys out, the Jets are good. I don't want to take anything away from the Jets, but I felt like there were opportunities in there, and you're playing Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I know I keep saying that over and over again, but I've seen this guy for over a decade. I know who he is. I know the guy that I'm looking at, and I know what kind of mistakes he'll make if you apply pressure to him. We didn't apply any pressure to him. I mean, I don't think we sacked him once in the game. When we did have a little bit of pressure, a glimpse of it, we opened up these huge rushing lanes for him. I'm talking about like Red Sea parting type lanes, where this guy was just able to run and pick up copious amounts of yards and really hurt us with his legs. Not to mention, we didn't stop the run. And I said that was one of the keys to the game, stopping the run and making him have to beat us. He was able to really go through the game at his own pace. We didn't put any pressure on him. We didn't make him feel like he needed to put the team on his back and win the game. And that was a recipe for disaster. But things on our side, forget about the Jets. Let's talk about what we failed to do in the game and some things that I saw upon further review. I talked about Alfred Morris and how I felt like he was slow. And I'm a beast. I just want y'all to know, when I give y'all stuff, when I give you a couple of nuggets to chew on directly after the game, and this is just pure me watching the game just like you're watching the game, I want you to know how good I am and how I'm giving y'all the reels. 5 minutes after the game is over, I'm giving you the reels. Listen to what Chris Cooley had to say about Alfred Morris in this Jets game.
Early in the game, decent inside vision, found a hole, got a 6-yard gain. At one point he makes a good cut, but you miss completely on the backside and you get a loss of 1.
And that concludes the good point. No, I'm just kidding.
And that, he had a nice catch in the flat and run that I thought he might get in. It was good. Okay. Alfred Morris, by the way, only played 26 plays out of 60-some. He didn't even play a third of the game, if you can believe that. So to say he really got in a rhythm, that's not necessarily fair. To say they ran it with rhythm, that's not necessarily fair. But here's realistically where we're at. You get a toss out to the right side that maybe he bobbles a little bit, but I don't think slows him down. You get everyone blocked on the edge. You get everything sealed up. You get the backside free safety who's initially starting, if Alfred's running to his right, initially starting 4 yards to the left of Alfred Morris, 12 yards deep. As you get the toss, as you get to the edge, you get the safety with a 10 to 12 yard window as a one-on-one situation for a running back. 1, he can't make him miss. 2, he can't outrun him. And you get a 6-yard gain. It's blocked for a 40-yard play. You gotta give me something there. You have got to give me something there if you're an NFL running back. Have to. Have to make a guy miss. Have to outrun a guy. Have to do something there for me. It's just not good enough. Missed a couple cutbacks. He, at times, was really slow and indecisive.
I just want y'all to know that I'm coming to y'all with some of the realest stuff you're going to hear about this team. And you're going to hear it all throughout the week. I'm giving it to you right after the game is over. Because I'm watching the game and I see this stuff as it's happening. You got guys going back and examining this tape and watching it thoroughly, and they coming back and telling you the same thing I told you 5 minutes after the game is over. That's what I'm doing over here. And like I told you, there were cutback lanes. And I know you say, damn, the offensive line was terrible. There were lanes there. There were opportunities for some more yards to be picked up on the ground, and we just don't have guys that are capable of doing that right now. Matt Jones from Matt Jones. That's gonna help us. You know, and he's got a lot to learn. That young fella has a lot to learn. And I don't want to beat Alfred up, because AM is my boy, okay? He's all of our boys. but at the same time, he's not being allowed to get into a rhythm. So it's really a situation where, because he's not getting enough touches, his play is being affected because he's not getting into a rhythm. He's indecisive. He's not the guy that we've come to know and love over the last 3-4 years. And it's really disappointing. It's really frustrating because if he just got more touches, more consistently, if he knew what to expect week in and week out, I think we'd see the Alfred that played a lot better for us over the last 3 years. But I don't think he's going to be able to see the rock enough for him to get into a rhythm in a comfort zone that will allow him to run the football more confidently like he has over the past 3 years. So really disappointing that his Redskins tenure is going to come to a very ugly and somewhat disappointing end. I mean, he's done so much for us. He's rushed for over 1,000 yards the last 3 years, and he's not going to even come close to 1,000 yards this year. If the trend continues, and I don't see how it changes over the next, 8 weeks or so of the season. I don't see how it changes to the point where he's getting a lot more touches unless something catastrophic happens, like Matt Jones goes down and we have to rely on the running game and all of a sudden the line starts blocking well again. I don't see how this changes. Maybe Deshaun Jackson comes back. It's good to get it's good to get him back in this game, but we still got to go out and convert, but we'll talk about it when we get to 10th pick. So that was one of the takeaways from the game. Listen to Chris Cooley, and I think Chris Cooley and his film breakdowns is a must for any Redskins fan out there. During the course of the week, you must listen to that because it gives you a little bit of insight as to what guys should be doing, how they should be doing it, and what they did throughout the course of the game, and did they have a really good game or not. I also thought that the offensive line, the young pups that stepped in, talking about Ty Nsekhe and Josh Laribas, I actually thought they did a really good job, especially in pass protection. With Josh Laribas, there were some snaps that, he's got to work on that, and they said that he's worked on that throughout the week in practice, but that's something he's got to work to get better at because maybe he's actually a better replacement for a guy, because he's a lot more stouter to me than Corey Lichtensteiger. And so I feel like there's some things he might be able to do. Is he as athletic as Corey Lichtensteiger? No, he's not. But at the same time, he's not getting blown up and allowing guys inside. And that was his first start. And against that deep defense, that Jets interior that is one of the best in the league, I thought he held up very well. So that was really promising to see. You know about Vitamin B. I don't have to tell you about him and some of the things that he does on the football field. You know how I feel about him, and it was good to see him go out and ball, and we need him to continue to do that because right now we don't have a lot of playmakers. He's one of the few that we do have on this football team, and I'm hoping that he continues to make plays in this upcoming game and gives us a chance to win. The linebackers have to play better. There's no secret there. Perry Riley Jr. looks really bad. Keenan Robinson, I didn't think he was terrible in this game, but he can play better. Ryan Kerrigan, no sacks, no pressure. I need him to step up. And he may be dealing with some injuries. He's been dealing with a hip pointer all year long. He left the Jets game temporarily with a hip pointer. He had a hip pointer injury in the loss to the Falcons. He's a guy that is tough, and he won't miss time unless he has to. I get that, but I need him to step up. We don't have anybody, and I want to see Preston Smith play more. Okay, Trent Murphy, that's done. I'm done with that. I'm done with Trent Murphy. I'm ready for Preston Smith. They got to make that happen. I want to see Stephen Paya play a little bit more. How about Ricky John Francois? I want to see him play some more. We need to shake some things up along that defensive line. I know Stephen Paya was out last week with a back injury. He should be back this week. I want to see those guys mixed in a little bit more. I think they're a lot more effective, and they need a lot more snaps. I don't think that the guys that we're playing on a regular basis deserve as many snaps as they're getting. We need to mix some things up, keep guys fresher. I think they need to put Stephen Paya and Ricky John Francois in the game a little bit more, give them some opportunity to make some things happen. But all in all, Kirk Cousins has to play better. We got to run the football better. We got to move the chains better. Speaking of which, that takes us to week 7 in our goal to this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team coming in here 2-3 off their bye week. They're feeling good about themselves, and just like we're saying it's code red and we should beat the Buccaneers, they're saying the same thing about us. That's the funny thing. I think sometimes the perception of the Redskins, because we're fans and we don't really pay attention to what's going on outside of our walls, we don't realize that we're that team on everybody else's schedule. Like how we try to clown the Buccaneers, like, oh, it's the Buccaneers, we need to win this game. They're doing the same thing to us. When Jacksonville sees Washington on their schedule, they're like, hey, we need to win that game. They garbage. The Buccaneers are saying the same thing about us. We're that team on their schedule, so we need to wake up and smell the coffee. We're a garbage team around the league. We're looked at and we're laughed at. We're a joke. So I think we have this misperception about ourselves and misconception that, you know, this is not the 90s, this is not the 80s. We are trash, okay? We are garbage, and other teams around the league look at us like a Jacksonville, like an Oakland. We're that team on their schedule. You know, New England is looking at us like, hey, we better smoke these boys and we better beat them by 30. That's how New England is looking at us. Like how they did Jacksonville, that's what they fully expect to do to us. Like that's who we are on other teams. So we need to stop acting as if we're better than Tampa Bay and we're supposed to win this game. No, we're not supposed to do anything. Let's just hope we win the game. Like, I don't know how delusional our fan base is, but you gotta realize we're not good, okay? And we haven't been good for a really long time. Sans for 2012, we've been a bad football team for a really long time. We've made the playoffs twice in like 20 years, okay? We're a bad football team. Okay, I'm over-exaggerating. We made the playoffs, 2 times with Gibbs in 2.0 and 1 time in 2012 and then 19. So 4 times in, 15 years we've made the playoffs? I mean, come on guys, let's be serious with ourselves. We're not a good football team. So, first of all, I need you to stop going into this game feeling like we ought to beat Tampa Bay because they're Tampa Bay. No, we're the Redskins. We should just hope that we go out and play good enough to win the game. We're not supposed to do anything. We're not good enough to supposed to beat anybody, okay? Let's get that straight right now. So, that's number 1. Number 2, we get Jordan Reed back. Jay Reed! And I can't tell you how big that is. We get Trent Williams back too. But Ty and Secchi played well enough last week that I was like, hey, if Trent needs to sit out 1 more week until after the bye and get healthy, because I think we're going to get a lot of stuff back after the bye. Now, it won't matter for that first game against New England. I don't think we're going to do anything earth-shattering in that game, but I'll be surprised if we don't get D. Hall, Cully, D-Jax, all of those guys back after the bye. I'm looking for a huge surplus of talent to infuse this lineup after the bye. But if you're talking Tampa Bay, the most important player for me was Jordan Reed because he moves the sticks. Have you seen our 3rd down efficiency plummet since he got injured? There's no coincidence. There's a direct correlation to him getting injured and us not sustaining offense on a consistent basis since he's gone down. So to have him back in the lineup, there's a number of things. It's going to help our run game, and I'm not saying it's going to help because he's a tremendous run blocker. It's going to help the run game because you have to key in on Jordan Reed, and you have to know where he is at all times. Where's 86? We got to make sure that we stop 86 because, you know, that's where they want to go with the football. So that's going to take coverage away from actually stopping the run. The Jets disrespected us last week. That was something else that I saw on tape. They disrespected us. They didn't do anything. It was funny. I was listening to Jay Gruden talk about how we got all these looks. He said, man, it's crazy. The Jets ran 15 cover 0 blitzes against the Dolphins in London. They didn't run any of those against us. You know why? They didn't have to. You blitz teams that you're afraid of because you don't want them to have time to carve you up. You want them to make decisions and rush, and that's why you blitz them. You don't blitz teams that you think are going to make mistakes if you just sit in the coverage. So why do I need to blitz again? Tell me, explain to me. When you have Kirk Cousins and no playmakers out wide, why do I need to blitz? Oh, okay, I didn't think so. I'm gonna rush 4, maybe 5. I'm gonna drop 6 or 7 in the coverage, and I'm gonna dare Kirk Cousins to make the right decision and not throw an interception. Why not? You don't scare me. You have nobody out there that scares me. Now that changes with Jordan Reed back on the field. So that's why his entry back into the starting lineup is huge. Now, I don't know how long it's gonna last for. 1 quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, whole game, maybe. I don't know. Maybe we get frisky and get a whole ball game out of this dude. At the end of the day, just him being out there is a problem for the Buccaneers that they got to deal with. So I feel good about that. I feel really good about that. Now, as far as running is concerned, we get Matt Jones. Who? Matt Jones. We get him back this week. And that's a good thing. We need him out there because I feel like AM right now, he's not a confident runner. And until he gets that confidence, and he may never get that confidence back in a Washington Redskins uniform, it's really frustrating because he's done too much for his Redskins tenure to end the way that it's going to. But that being said, it's a business, and I understand what they're trying to do here. And Matt Jones is the future, so I expect him to get a lot of the touches. He practiced all week. He's fine with the toe injury. I don't think Chris Thompson is playing, and if he doesn't, guess who's going to get the third down touches? Matt Jones. So he's going to get first down touches, second down touches, he's going to get third down touches. Where does that leave Alfred Morris? I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know. So that tells you what the game plan is going to be, though. And we got to run the football better, but just Jordan Reed being there, I can't begin to explain to you why his being back healthy is so huge for our offense. I mean, we don't have a lot of things, but he gives us something. But defensively, I think this is where the game is either going to be won or lost. I mean, we can sit here and talk about Kirk Cousins and his inability to stop turning the football over and all of those things. We can sit here and talk about that for an hour. But that's not what's going to win us or lose us this game. We lost to Tampa Bay last year because we couldn't stop them on the defensive side of the football. And yes, Robert threw an ugly pick in cover 2 defense and allowed the Buccaneers to score an easy TD last year, I want to say. But that's not why we lost the game last year. That's not why we're going to lose the game this year if we do lose. It's going to be because we can't stop the run. Last year, we let Josh McCown blaze us down the field. Mike Evans might have had 2 bills on us last year. I mean, he ate our ass alive last year. And we got to be able to stop the run first and foremost. And make Jameis Winston beat us and make him beat us without a run game. We haven't been able to do that for 2 weeks. I keep singing the same song over and over again. And if you ask me right now, I have zero confidence in our run defense, which is crazy. I didn't think I would even say that. I didn't think I would be able to fix my lips to utter those type of words this year, because the way our run defense started this year, I was supremely confident that we were going to shut teams down on the ground. I didn't know what the outcome of the game was going to be, but I could tell you one thing and one thing alone: you weren't running the football on us. You might pass us and shred us through the air, but you weren't going to run on us. Now, I don't know what the hell to expect week to week. I'm like, hey, can you guys please stop the run? Please? I'm begging you. And this is another one of those weeks. Doug E. That dude is back. And if he's able to run the football, they got Charles Sims out there as well. They got stuff in that backfield. They like to run screens. If we're not fitting in our gaps correctly, if we're not pursuing to the football like we were in the first 3 weeks of the season, if we're not running to the football and tackling, they're going to have screens, and they're going to run those for big gains. They're going to be able to run the football, which is going to open up play action fake, which is going to open up some shots down the field. Jameis Winston is going to hit B-Jack. He's going to hit Mike E. And they're going to have fun on us all day long if we don't come prepared to play. And that's where the game's going to be won or lost. At the line of scrimmage, in the trenches, man on man, mano y mano, we got to man up and win the line of scrimmage. If we don't, you can go ahead, go into the bye week at 2-5, and we can start sulking and having this pity parade for ourselves, as we're going to be in for another long, drawn out, and very disastrous season. Things will get ugly. We're going to be hearing about Jay Gruden getting fired and who's the next coach going to be. It's going to get ugly if we don't win this football game. And it may happen anyway, but let's not have it happen before November hits. I asked the fellas to do me a favor before the season and just get me to November. A win here gets me to November, and then all bets are off. After that, you do whatever the hell you want to do. I asked you for a favor. I don't ask you for much, fellas. I ask you for one favor a year. Get me the Sean Taylor game. You know how I feel about that game. So I asked you for that. I'm asking you for a favor, and I asked that before the season started. Fellas, just get me to November. I can't take another year of being out of it before November hits. Just get me to November. A win against the Bucs does exactly that. I am a Redskins fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskins spirit will never die. My Redskins spirit will never fold until we meet again. Hail to our beloved Redskins. Look, it's really simple for me. If we go out, we execute the game plan, we get Jordan Reed back, which is a huge boost for our offense. If we go out and execute and we find a way to get back to the basics on the defensive side of football, I think we've got a legitimate shot at winning this game. Nothing is for certain, nothing is guaranteed. I don't know why we think we're supposed to beat the Buccaneers. We just need to go out and play good football, and hopefully the third quarter is not a disaster this week, because we've led at halftime in 5 of our 6 games and found a way to lose 4 of those. So we need to be better, or 3 of those, excuse me. We need to be better in the third quarter. That's an understatement, but look, I'm not worried about that as much as everyone else is. We just need to come out and continue to play the first half like we have, and then we need to play the second half like we played the first half. There's no remedy for this. There's no, Jay Gruden changed the schedule so these guys can get an extra hour of sleep. Look, I don't care about any of that garbage, okay? At the end of the day, go out, play better than the Buccaneers for 60 minutes, come away with a W. We'll talk later. You know what I'm about to say. Go get them, fellas. Let's try and go get this W. Please.
There's plenty more where that came from. While you're here, subscribe to the channel. If you want more Louie T, be sure to follow me on Twitter at In the Lab Room, or you can like the Facebook page at In the Lab Room. That's In the Lab Room on Facebook and at In the Lab Room on Twitter. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. The Redskins Report.